Hello once again from Deep South Homestead. There are some southern traditions that have just gotten lost over the years, and here on our homestead we try to keep those traditions going. One of the things is making pork skins. When we butcher one of the pigs here, we don't waste anything. We usually make pork skins. We'll make cracklings, and let me say up front now, the process for making pork skins and the process for making cracklings is two totally different processes. Here today we have a pork belly off of one of the pigs. We lay it out here. Once we've cut the bacon side off of it, we'll lay this thing out. And then we cut it into strips about, I don't know, probably it could be anywhere from 2 to 2.5 inches wide. And I know a lot of people's thinking, boy, he needs a sharper knife. But let me tell you something. You'll find out just as soon as you start doing this that pork skin is tough. And this knife is just as sharp as it can be. It's just that pork skin is tough. And what we'll do is we'll take these strips that we cut off of this, and we're going to bring them over here. And we've got a pot of water sitting on the stove. We're going to put them in this pot. We're going to boil this for approximately 1 to 1.5 hours, or until the pork skins become clear looking. And we'll test them occasionally with a butter knife. We'll take a butter knife and we'll take one of them out occasionally, and what we're going to be doing in the process is we're going to be stripping the fat off of the skins and scraping it down. And once we get further along in this process, we'll catch back up with you later and show you the next process of this. Alright folks, we're back at the next part of this process. We've got our pork skins have boiled for approximately an hour to tender them up, and what you want to do is get them out of the hot water and get them over into some cold water to kind of stop the cooking process a little bit, because if they cook too long, they will be so tender that you can't scrape them. And you don't want that to happen. Of course, you're going to always have some that's going to tear up on you, and you got to work with them. It's just part of it. Nothing's ever really perfect when you do this. Alright, we seem to have them all out of there. We'll let these come over. And now we're going to take you over here and show you a little bit about this process of how you get the fat off. You want to take a butter knife and you want to let these cool down a little bit. And once you do, you want to take your butter knife and you're going to want to scrape these to try to get as much of the fat off of them as you want. The more fat you get off, the least amount of time they spend in the dehydrator, because it allows them to dry out a lot faster. And don't worry about it if they tear a little bit. That's perfectly fine. Just try to get as much of it off as you can. And you'll kind of see about what I'm talking about if you let them stay in there a little bit too long, about how easy it is to tear them. And once you get it fairly clean, like I said, cleaner, you want it to be really clean and get as much of the fat off as you can. Here's one here that I had already pre-done. And then here's this one. We're going to take these, we're going to come over here to the dehydrator. And you're going to lay them out in the dehydrator. And once we get through scraping all these, we'll stack the different tiers of dehydrator up, and we're going to let the dehydrator go for 24 to 36 hours. We'll check them during that period of time to see when they're ready, and when we get to that stage of the process, I'll show you how to tell when they're ready. Alright, we're back. The next step of the process, we've done dehydrated our pork skins. This is what they look like when they come out. When they come out of the dehydrator, you'll know they're ready when you can take them and they snap with you. These has been sitting out for a little while, and they break like that and make a loud snap. That's when they come out of the dehydrator and you know they're ready. You want to take them from that point over here in your grease. You want your grease to be between 350 and 400 degrees. You'll just throw them in there. Won't take them long. They'll start floating up to the top. Sometimes you may have to hold them down occasionally to just get all the expansion out of them you can get. Then you'll take them straight out of the grease, put them over on a plate. While they're a little bit damp with grease, you can put your little salt on them or whatever your favorite seasoning is while they're still warm. You can see how they blow up. You want to be careful that you don't get your grease too hot. You don't want to leave them in too long, because if you do, they'll absorb a lot of grease. Okay, this is the end results of what they look like when you take them out of there after you've salted them. Makes a wonderful snack whenever you've got a group of people over. You can have fresh pork rinds. These pork rinds you see here, we have a few extra ones here. Some of these were done February of last year. We put them in the freezer when they're like this, leave them in the freezer all year. They'll last up to a year and they're still good. Fresh pork rinds on the Deep South Homestead.